I thought he loved me. I was wrong. The whole world changed in one single night. This quote came from a woman named Aisha, a beautiful Nigerian mother. Her story is not just a tragedy. It is a terrifying window into how secret affairs can end in unimaginable horror. This is not fiction. This happened in real life. It shocked families from Lagos to London. It hit communities hard in the Middle East and South Asia, too. A shocking fact. Reports suggest that the average person keeps at least 3 major secrets from their partner. But Aisha's secret was different. It was deadly. A Nigerian woman, a powerful man, a hidden relationship. It all ended with a murder that nobody saw coming. But the truth behind this will shock you. You think you know what happened. You think it was simple jealousy. It was not. It was about money. It was about power. It was about a hidden life that unraveled in the worst way possible. We found out the biggest revelations. A wealthy Nigerian businessman was living a double life. This hidden life led directly to Aisha's death. This is the story of a secret affair that turned into a calculated murder. You won't believe the details we uncovered. Let me show you exactly how this happened. Aisha was a woman of ambition. She lived in Lagos, Nigeria, a huge, vibrant city. She worked hard. She had big dreams for her family. Aisha also had a secret connection. The key player in this story is Michael. Michael was a powerful, very wealthy man. He was known in business circles. He had connections in the UK and the US, and he was married, happily, or so everyone thought. Aisha and Michael's relationship began quietly. It started with simple meetings. Then it grew into a full-blown secret affair. Why did it matter? It matters because Michael's wealth was tied up with his marriage. A divorce would cost him a fortune. This is important. Keep that in mind. I'll explain why his wealth was the real target in a moment. For a while, they kept it hidden. They used burner phones. They met in secret locations. They thought they were safe. But secrets always leave a trail. This trail was made of the secret texts, hundreds of messages, emails, pictures, all of it building a case against Michael's perfect public image. We know Michael's wife, let's call her Sarah, was kept in the dark for years. This type of deception can break a person. It creates a motive, not just for Michael, but maybe others too. Past bias. People always think the simplest explanation is the right one. But in true crime, it is often the most hidden reason. The affair became dangerous when Aisha got serious. She reportedly wanted more. She wanted Michael to leave his wife. This is when the simple secret affair turned into a complex problem, a problem that required a shocking solution. This solution involved a trip to London, UK. Now here's where things get really interesting.
The most accessible wow line is simple. Michael reportedly paid $50,000 for Aisha to travel to London. $50,000. That is a huge amount of money. For context, the average salary in Nigeria is far, far lower. This payment was not a simple gift. Sources suggest it was meant to keep Aisha happy, to keep her quiet. Michael planned the trip carefully. It was supposed to be a temporary break, a way to cool down the pressure in Lagos. He put her up in a nice flat. Everything looked perfect. But wait, the money didn't buy silence. It bought something else. It bought Michael time to plan. Aisha felt things were finally changing. She was in London, a big city. She saw a future, maybe a future with Michael. This ambition connected to the viewer's daily life. We all want a better life. We all chase a dream. But Aisha's dream was built on a very unstable foundation. The payments left a financial trail. This trail would later be followed by the investigation team. The police in London and Nigeria worked together. They tracked bank transfers. They tracked phone calls. They built a timeline. Every transfer was a dot. Every text message was a line. I'll explain the final damning piece of the financial evidence later. The police found a key detail. Michael's plan had a massive flaw. When Aisha arrived in London, she did not go silent. She reportedly started making contact with Michael's business associates. She talked about the affair. She talked about the money. She started to threaten his perfect life. The threat was not just to his wife, it was to his massive wealth, his entire reputation. This simple travel arrangement, the luxury flat, the big sum of money, it all looked like romance. But it was the first step in a bigger, darker plan. Michael had more to lose than just his wife. He had his empire to lose. But if you think that's crazy, wait until you hear this.
This part is about the hidden mechanism. The murder did not happen by accident. It was a planned hit. Michael did not use his own hands. He used an insider. The complex fact, Michael allegedly outsourced the murder to a man he knew from his business dealings. This was not a random killer. It was someone Michael reportedly trusted to handle sensitive matters. The killer was an associate. Let's call him John. Contrast the public image of Michael, the successful, well-respected businessman, versus the insider knowledge. Insider versus public. The public saw a loving husband. Insiders reportedly saw a ruthless operator, a man who would protect his interests at any cost. This confirms what many suspect. The wealthy often use their power to hide the most terrible truths. The financial trail became crucial again. The investigation team found a smaller, separate payment. This one was far less traceable. Cash withdrawals, multiple small transfers. These went to John, not for business, but for the sensitive matter. This layer of planning shows the true coldness of the act. It wasn't a crime of passion. It was a business decision, a brutal cost-benefit analysis. I'll interrupt here to ask a question. Do you think Michael ever thought he would get caught? Hold that thought. We found expert insight. A police source speaking anonymously stated, "Most people who hire a hitman use cash. They think it disappears. But the organization of the funds, the timing, the movement, it all leaves a digital shadow. The more professional the cover-up, the bigger the shadow." This is the hidden mechanism, the use of a proxy. John reportedly traveled to London. He knew where Aisha was. He knew her routine. He had the plan. The timeline of his travel matched the timeline of the murder. The authorities layered these facts logically. The police started to call this a love triangle case. But that name is too simple. It was not a triangle of love. It was a triangle of money, fear, and power. Aisha was the victim caught in the crossfire of Michael's immense fear of losing his empire. Then versus now. Before, Michael could manage the affair with lies. Now, he needed to manage the threat of the affair with violence. The risk had changed. The cost was no longer a secret. The cost was now potentially his entire future. The hidden fact that built toward the biggest twist? The police found evidence that John had been in London 3 times before the murder, not just once. 3 scouting trips. This showed careful, calculated preparation. Not a spur-of-the-moment thing. It was cold. It was terrifying. This brings us to the most shocking discovery of all. The biggest high-stakes reveal that reframes the entire story. Michael had reportedly instructed John to make the murder look like a robbery gone wrong. This detail is crucial. It connects all the previous dots. Why the London flat? Why the huge initial payment? Why the secret transfers to John? It all led to this final act of deception. The goal was to protect the system-level implications of Michael's wealth. If it looked like a robbery, the police would stop looking at Michael. They would look at local criminals in London. His empire would be safe. His wife would never know the full truth. He would mourn Aisha publicly, and he would walk away clean. The depth of this calculation is truly staggering. He didn't just want her gone. He wanted his alibi to be solid. The investigation team found the flaw in this staged robbery. The witness, a simple neighbor. They saw John leaving the flat. They noticed something small, something out of place. The dramatic but believable moment came in the testimony.
The witness didn't see a fearful robber running away. They saw a man walking calmly away. Too calm. This single observation reframed everything. It forced the police to look beyond the surface. They stopped looking for a thief. They started looking for a professional, a hired hand.
This is the system-level implication. When power and money are involved, the cover-up is often more complex than the crime itself. Michael had access to the best legal minds, the best resources. He thought he could buy his way out of consequence. He thought his secrets were strong enough to hide the murder. So what does all this mean for us today? Why does this case matter now for you, the target viewer? This case is a lesson in the digital trail we all leave. Michael thought he was safe with secret texts and cash payments, but every action in our modern world leaves a trace. For the young professional, the takeaway is simple. Everything is recorded. Your ambition, your secrets, your mistakes, they all leave a mark. The short-term consequences were immediate. Michael was arrested. His reputation was destroyed. The financial empire he tried so hard to protect started to crumble. The stocks purportedly dipped immediately. The long-term consequences are even bigger. The case exposed a hidden reality of powerful, rich men who use their status to cover up their crimes. Simple prediction: more and more true crime cases will be solved by digital forensics. The old tricks don't work anymore. I'll explain the final outcome of the court case in a little bit, but first, the personal takeaway. The personal takeaway is about deception. Aisha was deceived by Michael's promises. Michael deceived his wife and the world. Deception is a massive risk. It creates holes in your life that someone else can use against you. We keep the tension high with a small reveal. During the investigation, police found something else. Michael was reportedly sending money to an offshore account in the days after Aisha's death. This was not guilt money. Sources suggest it was a contingency plan, a nest egg to use while he was on the run or in court. It shows his priority was never justice. It was always escape. This whole story is a stark reminder that the cost of a secret life can be astronomical. The people we trust, the partners we choose, they can carry hidden dangers. For the global audience, the case highlighted issues of cross-border crime, how easy it is for a crime to start in Lagos and end in London. The need for international cooperation is huge. The simple predictions for the viewer: be aware of the digital world. Be aware of the motives of people who have much to lose. Because what they have to lose, they might fight to keep, no matter the cost. Before we wrap up, there's one final thing you need to know. The last unexpected twist comes from the witness statement again. Remember the calm associate, John? The police never found the murder weapon at the scene. It was a massive hole in the case. Michael and his lawyers were confident. They would claim lack of direct evidence. They would use the robbery gone wrong story. The final reveal: the witness didn't just see John. They also saw him throwing a small, wrapped object into a nearby public bin. The police searched that bin. They found the object. It was a simple, small key. Sources confirm it was the key to a storage locker miles away. This was Michael's biggest mistake, a small, desperate act by his associate, a small piece of trash. It was the crack in his perfect plan. Inside that storage locker, they found the murder weapon, wrapped in a cloth. They also found a detailed timeline written in John's hand. It implicated Michael directly. The timeline was the emotional close of the story loop. It was the final, undeniable proof. The court case was swift after that. The evidence was overwhelming. The judge reportedly used a harsh sentence. Michael was found guilty of conspiracy to murder. He failed to protect his empire. He failed to buy his freedom. His secret affair, meant to be a private thrill, became a public, devastating legal battle. This case shows us that no amount of money or power can completely hide the truth.
The truth always finds a way out.
The story of Aisha, the Nigerian woman with big dreams, ended in tragedy. But her story led to justice. It exposed a powerful man and a cruel, calculated crime. If this opened your eyes, this case of Aisha and Michael is a dark look at betrayal, wealth, and murder. Every secret text, every wire transfer served as evidence that brought Michael down. Michael's fear of losing his empire led him to commit the ultimate, irreversible crime. A single witness seeing a man walking too calmly, a key thrown in a bin, these small things unraveled a massive cover-up. Even against powerful, wealthy figures, the truth can prevail when dedicated investigators follow the trail. This story forces us to look closer at the hidden lives of the people around us. It teaches us about the dark side of ambition and the devastating consequences of living a lie. If you want more high-retention investigative true crime stories like this one, make sure to hit that subscribe button right now. Don't miss our next deep dive. And tell me what detail in this case shocked you the most in the comments below. We found another shocking case of a luxury became a disguise inside the billionaire's Miami isolation trap. Click the video on your screen now to watch that investigation next. It has surprising parallels to Aisha's case. It's the single biggest reason people risk everything, their wealth, their freedom, to cover up a secret affair. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for watching. Stay safe and stay curious. We'll see you in the next investigation.